Hi friends, hope you all are doing well. Today I want to speak about 1 and 12th house connection in an astrological chart. It so happened that yesterday I was going through a post in Facebook, and there was an article regarding Parivartan between 1st and 12th house. Most of the answers were there, Still the answer I wanted to see was not there. So I think that one answer was that one outcome was missing. So I decided before making 6th and 12th house connection video, I explain 1st and 12th house connection and what Parivartan in between both these houses means. The first house is about us, ourselves, our journey in this lifetime, as well as our journey due to what we have done in another lifetime. It is about our personality, our looks, our facial structure, our total personality, basically our attitude. It also reveals what our interests are, how our attitude is going to be in this lifetime, what we have come to learn. Our focus will be towards which sectors of life. Like for me, my chart indicates that I'm towards knowledge, cosmic knowledge. So everybody's chart, like some people are incarnated because they want to go towards fashion, communication, media, film industry, some to earn money through business. So everybody's chart indicate that from their first house itself. That's why when we look at astrologers, when we look at someone's chart, or we just know someone by by face, we can tell your ascendant have to be this. Most of us can do that. Like by looking at a picture, we can say your ascendant is this. It has to be this, So this is one of the things. 12th house is what? 12th house is about exits, endings and exits, surrender. It's about losses. It is about bed pleasures. It's about dhyan, sadhana, pilgrimage, overseas journeys. It's about isolation. It's about spiritual retreats and many other things, feet and many other things. So what 1st and 12th house connection indicates? When the first lord goes in 12th house and 12th lord comes in 1st house, what it indicates? This means loss of self to gain self. This means that the soul is incarnated because it has some losses in previous lifetime, and it has come to regain those losses. When 12th house comes in 1st house, that means the soul is incarnated to gain back what it has lost in another lifetime. Okay, so this is that. And when the 1st house goes in 12th, means that the soul will lose itself for something. That soul will desire something so much that it will lose itself for that, and through that loss it will experience something. Experience what? That depends where 12th lord goes. If 12th lord comes in 1st, that means it will gain self by that loss. So even through losses you have gains. Even when you lose yourself, you may end up gaining a lot. In fact, that's the purpose of soul, to gain back yourself through losses. Losses teaches us the purpose of life in physical body. Soul doesn't get evolved through being out of body. All the Gyanis in the world have written this, including Dr. Brian Weiss, and there are so many of them, that only when the soul is in physical body, the journey of learning is there. One can evolve by being in physical body. So why the soul has come in this life, we can see through 2 houses, 1st and 12th. You see, in a chart there are many ways of looking at purpose of the soul. 6th and 12 also indicates that. 8 and 12 also indicates that. In fact, each house connection with another house tells something regarding that soul. So we are not incarnated for regarding one thing only. We are incarnated to settle many things, to learn many lessons. So each house connection with another house speak of that purpose of the soul, that sector of life, what it is supposed to, whether it is supposed to give, to gain, or to give or lose. That it shows what it is going to eventually learn. So basically 1st and 12th shows us that whether the soul is just going to lose or it is also going to gain back. This is also the house of asking for forgiveness and be forgiving. If you are going to lose yourself because you need forgiveness from someone, and through that forgiveness are you going to gain back yourself. This is what I have personally seen in many charts, that when they have this 1st and 12th connection, they have some intense trauma regarding someone's hurt. Either someone has hurt them and they expect forgiveness from that person and they are willing to forgive. It is not that they are not willing to forgive. They are willing to forgive, and in fact they are forgiving also, but they can't forget. So if you can't forget, then it is not forgiveness. When we truly love someone, we don't remember, if they make a mistake. Like for me, people I love, if they do something or they say something to me which I don't like, but I forgive them, like my children. I don't keep that in my heart. Okay, like this person said this at certain point in time. So there are some souls which are hurting, which need that healing. They are incarnated for that. So are they going to get that forgiveness or not? Same way, some souls have committed something, some sin, and they need to humble themselves down. This 1st and 12th house connection also shows that if you are willing to let go of your ego and if you are willing to come down, the purpose of the soul's incarnation is this, that if you are going to bow down, if you are going to humble yourself because you have done sins, if your first house is bad, that means you have done some sins in another lifetime, and even, or maybe in this lifetime you are doing something to hurt someone. But how you will have how you will overcome those sins? By letting go of your ego, by bowing down, by going down. Down is what? Feet of that soul whom you have hurt, or feet of, basically you bow down to your own feet, means you let go of your own ego. So this is also one of the things. Now its connection with another house determines whether the soul is going to gain back something after losing, or it is not going to gain back, and how it is going to be incarnated again in another lifetime. That's what the 1st and 12th house connection also shows. Now if I want to speak about a mythology, which I would like to explain the 1st and 12th house connection, how it works. See, there is this song I was hearing, nowadays it's trending a lot. It's favorite song for everyone, एक प्यार का नगमा है. There is one sentence in that, कुछ पाकर खोना है, कुछ खोकर पाना है, जीवन का मतलब तो आना और जाना है. This 1st and 12th house connection speaks of this आना और जाना. Okay, now the mythology, I would like to tell you about Meera. What Meera's connection was with Krishna. That speaks of 1st and 12th house connection. See, Meera was a gopi in another lifetime. Her name was Madhavi. She was married to one of the Gopas of Vrindavan, who was known to Lord Krishna. Lord Krishna was known to everyone, and he knew everyone there. Lord Krishna was in Vrindavan or Nandagram till he was 11 years old, and then he left for Mathura. After that he never came back. Now Lord Krishna was a child only there, and he had this maybe 7-8 years old that time, and he had this he had this habit that whosoever will get married in their village, he will be the first one to see the face of the bride. So like we have one ceremony called Muh Dikhai. So everybody knew that any bride who has come, the first person who will see, from her veil, he will lift the veil and see the face of the bride. So in fact, everybody used to invite Yashoda Ma, and used to say that bring Krishna also along, Kanhaiya also along, because he will see the bride's face first. And in a way, it's good also. All brides are getting blessing of God, So this was already the fixed principle of their village. Now one day Krishna was standing in front of his house, and there was one of his gopas whom he used to know, could be his friend also. He was going somewhere in his bullock cart. So he asked, Krishna asked that gop that where you are going. He said, I got married some time back. Now I am going to my bride's village to bring her back. You know, for Gona means for Vidai, like bringing the girl from his marital home to his bringing the girl from her marital home to her in-laws home. So Lord Krishna, as usual, warned him, okay, you are bringing her, it's good, but don't see her face. So he says, okay, he will not see her face, because he said, I will be the first one to see her face. So it is promised and done. So when he goes to her village, the girl's name, the bride's name was Madhavi. Her mother told her that there is one very naughty boy in that village where your in-laws are living. His name is Shyam. You do not communicate with him. You do not see him and don't allow him to see you. The mother must have thought that he's a very naughty boy. This one is a small girl. She may also become naughty with him. And then, you know, the small child, you know, the girl must be 6-7 years old. So it's better to warn her. Otherwise, family name will go down and all those things. So anyway, so Lord Krishna waits whole day for his gop to come back home, to come back to the village. He's waiting outside patiently whole day. So in the evening when the bullock cart returns, he stops the bullock cart and he says, okay, now I want to see the face of your bride. So the gop, who was like also must be a small boy, 11-12 years old, 13 years old, he tells his bride that this is my friend Krishna and he wants to see your face. Please allow him to see your face. Lift your veil. His name is Krishna. So the bride Madhavi thinks, oh, this is the boy my mother wants me, that you don't allow him to see your face, and you don't mix with him, and don't talk to him, and don't allow and don't see his face. So she holds her veil very tight. She didn't want him to see her face. So Lord Krishna says, let me see your face now. I only want to see your face. Just one time, let me see your face. See, she some more pulls her wheel down and hold it some more tighter and push herself behind. So move behind. So Lord Krishna say, Arre, I just want to see your modo one time. Modo means face in Braj Bhasha. Just let me see your modo, you know, your face, and then I will go. I will not bother you again. Just let me see. She some more refused to budge, you know. She just didn't want to look at him. She pushed her face in between her knees, you know, some more bows down like that, and held her wheel very tight. So Lord Krishna say, okay, I will never see your face ever in this life, you know. Now I will not bother you again. And he leaves, you know. In fact, when the invitation comes from this gop's house to Ma Yashoda that come and see the bride face for Muh Dikhai Rasam and bring Kanhaiya along. So Mother Yashoda, Ma Yashoda asked Krishna, Chalo, let's go, we see the bride. He says, I will not see. So she thinks, okay, maybe mood nahi hoga, you know, maybe he is troubled because of something. But he just decides that I will not go and meet her anymore. So then after some time goes off, like that, 1-2 years like that, then one day there was the Lord Indra Kop takes place when there was you know, massive rain and thunderstorm and lightning, and their village was drowning. So Lord Krishna lifts Govardhan Parvat on his little finger. So because of all this running around, the veil of Madhavi lifts, you know. And she suddenly lifts her head and she sees a very beautiful finger lifting the Govardhan Parvat. So she thinks that if the finger is so beautiful, how beautiful he must be, the face must be of this person. So when she looks at his face, she realizes that this is not the ordinary person. This one is a great soul. He must be God. No human being, ordinary human being, can do this kind of thing that can lift the Govardhan Parvat. So she asks her friend that who is this guy? who is lifting this on his little finger. So another gopi tells her that this is the same Krishna you always run away from. You don't want to look at him, you don't want to see him. Every time he is coming or passing by, you always cover your face and you hide your face and all those things. He's the same person. And that time Madhavi laments and she says, what sin you have made me do, mother. She laments and she tells that she falls in love with Krishna at that moment, and she tells, she lamented that time, and she said that to her mom, like to the society and everyone, like in olden days they used to exclaim, Hey Rab, Hey Bhagwan, like that she says. And she says that what mistake you have made me do. And then she said in never ever again in any lifetime she will allow anyone to control her, and she will not bother about social rules and regulation, man maryada, and she will do what her heart would like her to do and all that. And then she was incarnated as Meera, and in her childhood she decided that she is married to Lord Krishna, and basically she lives her life as a Krishna Bhakt. She in fact became Krishna Magna. She lost herself to Krishna totally. She was married to a king, so she was a queen, but she used to walk around on a street bare feet. Her sari was not even on her head at times, and she didn't bother what people are talking about her. She was getting defamation, and ultimately her soul went inside the statue of Lord Krishna. So this is what first and 12th connection is. So in the chart also, if we look at it, we will really know which sector of our life we will lose ourselves, and which sector of our life we are going to able to regain ourselves. This is one very important purpose of first and 12th connection and Parivartan.